Hey guys, welcome to my escape. Today we're going to do a book unhaul because I'm going home for the summer and I have to deal with some of these books because it's just too much, spring cleaning, all that. So I'm going to move some. And when I say some, I mean like 6 was the best I can do. Okay? There's 8 others on the chopping block, 6 that are actually going to go. And that was all I could do. I'm sorry, okay? But I love my books for a reason and most of them I haven't even had for a year. So we're working with what we're working with. I know a lot of people don't like negative videos and, you know, if you don't like a book, don't talk about it. I disagree, okay? A, I love to rant. B, I love to watch people rant. So if they dislike something, I want to know about it. It doesn't mean it's going to change my opinion on it. I just think it's fun to watch. So we're going to do that. If one of these on the list is your favorite book ever, or you love it, or I just didn't understand the nuance, okay. So many of my series people hate for valid reasons, and I'm like, you know what, that's valid, but I still love it. So just take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is, and we're gonna have some fun with this. In no particular order, we have Last Night at the Telegraph Club. I'm unhauling this. I only finished this like 4 or 5 days ago, something like that. I don't know if it's even been that long. I'm getting rid of this because I did not like it at all. My friends and I decided to start a book club, and this was the book club pick, and we all bought it in store together, and bless their souls, they finished it in the summer. I finished it in March. I don't like it. It's gotta go. This is like a YA coming-of-age story set in the 1950s in San Francisco, and it follows a girl in high school figuring out her sexuality, I guess. Might be better if, you know, I was younger and I was still in high school, or, you know, figuring out my sexuality, something like that. If I could relate maybe more to the characters, it might be better, but where I'm at in my life now, I'm just like, I'm bored. Let's move on. I'm bored. So off the shelf it goes. So that one I wouldn't necessarily call negative. It was just a book that just really wasn't designed for me. However, these next two, negative. Negative, okay? I have the whole case. It's the first 2 of The Witcher. I got these for Christmas 2 years ago. Last year or 2 years ago. So we have The Last Wish, which is the prequel to the series, and Sword of Destiny. Didn't even read Sword of Destiny. I read The Last Wish this month. I have been excited for this for a while. I got into it and when I first got it, like the Christmas day, and then I stopped like 40 pages in and I put it down. I couldn't remember why. So I picked it up again and I was like, oh yeah, because of the rampant sexism and weird sexualization of children and just the overall ick. I hated it. I hated every second of this. I should have DNF'd it at like 30%, and I pushed through all the way to the end because this, I mean, spoiler for my coming wrap up, this was my knock it off my current reads list, so I really wanted to like read it. And I knew I owned the second one, so I was like, maybe it gets better, maybe it gets better. It did not get better. It did not get better whatsoever. I want these off my shelf so bad. They've honestly sat in the corner of so many of my videos just because I had them there, and now I'm like, ick. All of those videos, ick now, because I don't want these in the background. I don't want to be associated with them. I did not like them. They were not fun. Absolutely not. Off my shelf immediately. All the Stars and Teeth. Also getting rid of this one. I DNF'd this at like the 70% part or something like that. I thought this was going to be like fun pirate vibes. It follows this sheltered princess who kind of comes to the realization that her kingdom's in trouble and something happens which forces her out of kind of like her comfy life, and then she's on the run with like a pirate, a mermaid, and herself, and a stowaway. That's literally on the cover. Did not give me any of the vibes I wanted. All the characters were annoying. She was so annoying. And like being in her head, I was like, you are not smart and you are not learning from your mistakes. You are just naive and you're completely okay living in your ignorance and you're not going to change anything, but then you're also mad that people have left you to your ignorance. Like, at some point, take some responsibility. Couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand her. So I just DNF'd it. So obviously if I DNF a book, I don't want it to keep it on my shelf, so off it goes. Then we have Serpent and Dove, which I've had on my shelf for like a year since I've read it, and I don't know why this ever made it back on my shelf. I hated this book. I read this in like January or February of last year. It's a fantasy romance, witch and a witch hunter, and like a forced marriage or something like that. I was like, that sounds awesome. Yes, this was not awesome. And I know so many people love the series. I don't get it. I don't get it. The guy does not get better. He's just like a dick all the way through. The girl like had her moments, but then when she started getting into this romance, I was literally like, but why? Why would you put yourself through this? He sucks. And then they kind of just started sucking together, and the plot was weak, and the story, like world building, really relied on you having previous experience in similar worlds rather than building a world itself, which I just thought was like a bit like lazy writing. Again, if it's your favorite, that's great. You can enjoy it, but I didn't. I was shocked when I saw this still on my shelf. I didn't even know like how I didn't see it before, but yeah, this is definitely going off the shelf. I don't even know why I've had it so long. Some honorable mentions that I just got rid of like a couple days ago. Carval, got that off my shelf because did not like that at all. I love the Night Circus, and this kept getting compared to the Night Circus, and I was like, the Night Circus is such a beautiful world. And then I hopped in this and I was like, if you describe your freaking emotion as periwinkle one more time, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Another one people love that I just don't see it. So that I got off my shelf. And then A Touch of Darkness. Again, a book I read early on in 2022. I did know this one was on my shelf, and I left it for a little bit because it was like my entrance into the smut world and like my entrance into romance. So I was like, okay, well, I'll leave it there, and then, you know, later on in my reading journey, I'll pick it up again and see how it compares to when I initially read it. But I just didn't have good feelings from it, and I never wanted to pick it up again, and I was like, I'm really gonna hold on to this book to force myself to do a reread somewhere ambiguously down the line. No. So I just got rid of it. And this last one, to end on a positive note, is An Ember in the Ashes. I have not read this one. I have high hopes for this one, but I have it in hardback now, and I like this edition so much more than this edition, and I don't need both. Both of these I got used. So, like, I just don't need both on my shelf. I don't collect multiple of the same editions, so I'm keeping this one. I will read this one, and then I'll get rid of this one, and somebody else can enjoy it. So those are all the books that I either have or definitely going to unhaul. And then the books I'm debating unhauling. I don't want to pull them all off my shelf because then I have to put them back. So I have this poetry book, Sir W. Scott's Works. I was going to use this as like part of like this art project thing I was planning on doing, but I haven't gotten around to it, and I bought it like 2 years ago for that. It's like definitely like the old weathered pages looks. I might have to get rid of it just because I don't really see myself having the time to do that project anytime soon. But I did read a couple works in here. I read a bit of poetry, but like classic poetry is not really my thing. The other ones I was thinking of unhauling are these ones. So there are 3 in the Throne of Glass series. There's Throne of Glass, which I have read, Tower of Dawn, and Empire of Storms. I was just kind of picking them up like used as I went along. I wasn't really searching for them, but if I was already going and like getting a bunch of used books and they had like 1 or 2, I was just gonna piece the series kind of together. But then I read the first one and I didn't like immediately like fall in love, be like, I have to crush it now. So then that kind of like tapered off. And then I know that Sarah J. Maas's writing just isn't really my forte. I did like this one better than A Court of Thorns and Roses though. So I'm debating. But if I do move home, I will unhaul those ones just because you can really get them used pretty much everywhere. And it's not worth like the space or the weight for me to try to ship these particular copies back home. And then pretty much everything, like I'll definitely be keeping all of those, definitely keeping all of these, definitely keeping all of these. But if we come down to like the bottom of the bookshelf, I am debating getting rid of these 4 and these 3 or one of the 2 sets because they seem very, very similar. They're both like fallen angel stories, YA, and I got them initially just because they were a really good price, and I was like, I kind of missed this in my YA journey. I gotta like go back and do like a full background of it. But I'm like, do I really need both of the series? I don't know. So I might get rid of them. I don't know. If I stay for university, I will keep them, but if I go home, I'll probably get rid of one, if not both. But yeah, you guys don't usually get to see down here a lot. These are my bottom shelf books. Not bottom shelf for any particular reason, mostly just because they're short enough to fit under there. But yeah, that's that. And those are all the books I'm either trying to unhaul now or considering unhauling before I leave for the summer. This was a very short video. I am going on vacation soon, but I want to post while I'm on vacation, so I'm trying to curate enough videos that I can continue to post. So we'll see how that will go. But yeah, that concludes today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I post videos every Friday, so ring that bell for notifications. Leave a comment down below if I'm unhauling one of your favorite books, because I love when people get a little angry. But other than that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye!